Today I'm going to show you how to make these gorgeous acrylic poured coasters. Hey guys, it's Carrie from Green Living Market. I'm back today to do another coaster tutorial. We did one yesterday with resin and we did these beautiful glossy resin coasters using the Envirotex Lite. Today we're going to do something similar, except for we're not going to use the resin to paint the coasters. We're going to use a flood medium called Floetrol and a silicone lubricant, which will help you get the cells when you're doing paint pouring. Now if you look online, there are a million different recipes for mixing paint pouring medium. What I did was I used the unicorn spit, the Zeatil, the Blue Thunder, and then I used just some apple barrel for my white. And I mixed about 1:1 paint to water, and then I took that and mixed 1:1 my paint mixture with the flood. I've already mixed my paint. I've got the Zeatil, the Blue Thunder, and the white. And now we're going to pour these into a small cup. There's so many different ways you can do this. You can layer your paint in a cup and flip it over. You can take each color and pour it. I'm going to start with white and just coat my coaster with the white. Paint pouring is very messy. It's going to get all over the place, so I've got my cups sitting on a piece of wax paper. If you put the shiny side up, when your paint dries, you'll be able to peel off what's called a skin, and you can actually use that for other projects later on down the road if you want. Alright, before I do my colors, I need to add just a couple drops of the silicone. And you don't need much. You really just need to put like, that's 3 drops, 4, I think it went 4 drops. And then you're not even gonna stir it, you're just gonna let it barely mix in there. This one looks like it's got, I use these little cups, they have lids. So that way when I'm done, I can just put the lid back on the jar and come back and paint pour another day. That's why these cups are so messy. Okay, I'm just going to spread my white out. Sometimes when you're pouring paint, the paint wants to pull back off the edge a little bit, so if you go ahead and get some paint on the edge, it makes it a little bit easier when you actually do the pour for the paint to flow over. I also tape the bottom of these coasters with some painter's tape, so when I'm done and they're dry, I can pull the tape off and have a clean bottom. Okay, I'm just going to layer my paint. Okay, so you can see we've got the paint just layered in the cup there, and I'm just going to slowly pour it on. And then you can tilt it. Run my fingers around the edges. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I like that look. So you could leave it like that, or you could swipe it. I'm not going to swipe it, I'm just going to leave it like that. And then we're going to try something different on the next one, just so you can get a feel. I'm just going to torch this a little bit to get the bubbles out. If you're doing paint pouring, or resin pouring, it is essential to have a torch. If you don't have a torch, your projects are going to wind up with little bubbles all in them, and you can try to get them out with a heat gun. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I tried my first few projects, I did it with a heat gun, and I wasn't happy with the results, so I bought a torch. Okay, so let's try something different on the next one. Let's just pour the paint straight on. I'm going to take my gloves off so my hands are going to get dirty, but that's okay. Okay, so that gave us a completely different look than the first one. So let's see if we can do a swipe. I like this one better, but I took too much off right there. I don't know if you can see that, but I took too much paint off. So I added a little paint back there, and I'm going to swipe it again. When you're swiping it, you want to just stay right on top of the paint and not actually touch the coaster with it. That's where I messed up. I took it too deep, and I was touching the coaster, and I pulled the paint right off of it. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I like this one a lot. So this one was the flip cup, not the flip cup. This one was a layered cup, and then this one was pouring it straight on. Let's try a flip cup on this one. Okay, so I've layered my paint in the cup, and this time I'm going to do a flip cup. Oops. And let's do a drag. See how those cells are forming in there? That's from the silicone, the treadmill lubricant, that causes it to do that. And the other nice thing about working with the acrylic paint pouring medium is that you don't have to worry about being in such a time crunch like you are with the resin. Because once you mix your resin, you only have about 20 or 30 minutes to work with it, whereas opposed to working with acrylic paint, you got all the time in the world. You can play with it all day. Okay, that one's pretty cool. I really like that one. It's very similar to the swipe that we did, only this time it was a flip cup, and then we just tilted it. Okay, I'm going to lay this down to do an intentional swipe. When you're swiping, you want to have a color to swipe over the other colors. So you want to lay some heavy paint down on the edge of your swipe, and then you're just going to pull it across. And if you need to go back and swipe again, wipe your trowel off first. I'm just using this little plastic knife. See, I went too far. I'm going to throw just a tad of blue on the edge and swipe that through. That's cool. think this might be my favorite. Big cells, I like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna torch these one more time just to make sure I don't have any bubbles. Now what's gonna happen when they dry, they're gonna dry very matte. So what you can do is once they're dry, you can clear coat them with something glossy. So you can do like a spray gloss. I'll probably use a resin, and I'll probably do a resin coating over top of them. We'll see. I'm going to come back when these are dry and I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll do a top coat. I'm back to finish my coasters. It's been about a week. I wanted to give the paint time to cure. It's very important when you're doing paint pouring to allow your painting, your coasters or your painting or whatever you're pouring to dry thoroughly and give the paint time to cure. So what I've done here is I set them aside for about 6 days, let them cure. I sprayed them with a coat of the clear acrylic enamel just to give them something to seal them with, because when you're working with silicone and resin, the silicone's going to rise to the top, and then when you pour the resin over top of it, if there's any silicone left, it's going to cause your resin to separate. So I sprayed them with the crystal clear enamel, and then I cleaned them with just some warm water and Dawn dish detergent to make sure that there's no more silicone left on the surface of my coasters. And I could call it a day and leave them like this with just the clear enamel on them, but I'm going to take it one step further and put a coat of the Envirotex Lite Epoxy resin on them, because I like the way the resin gives it a nice, really glossy, hard finish. So I've mixed my resin, 1 part resin, 1 part hardener, and mix that together for 3 minutes if you're using the Envirotex Lite. If you're using a different type, just make sure you read the instructions. Each resin's a little bit different, so your mixing time might be different. The most important thing is to make sure you measure properly and get your exact 1-to-1 ratio with the resin. So now all I'm going to do is just put a clear coat over top of each one. On the bottom. And now I'm just going to spread this out with my spoon. I've coated my coasters, and now I'm just going to blow them gently with the heat gun. Run my finger along the edge here and spread out any resin that went over the sides. Okay, I'm just going to give them a quick torch. That worked out well. Doesn't look like any of the resin is pulling away. That looks good. I'm just going to babysit them for probably the next 10 or 15 minutes and make sure that my resin doesn't start pulling away from the side. If it does, I'll just pick some up with my finger and slide it back on there, but it doesn't look like it's going to do that. So I'll just continue to go around with my finger and wipe the edges off for a few minutes, and then I'll set them aside for about 24 hours and they will be ready to go. It's been about 24 hours and my coasters have cured. Man, I really love that Envirotex Lite. The glass coat on top of these just really gave them such a nice hard finish, and they are absolutely beautiful. I think this is my favorite set that I've done so far. That's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to do an image transfer onto a piece of wood in under a minute. So stay tuned for that.